Running an online business is hard enough without the stress and time consumption of managing hosting. Whether managing one WordPress site or dozens, Kinsta's managed solutions offer speed, enterprise-grade security, and an intuitive dashboard. With 24/7 365 human-only expert support, get peace of mind that your sites stay online, secure, and performing their best. Start today and get your first month free with migrations handled for you. Learn more at kinsta.com/podcast. That's KINSTA.com/podcast.
This time of year, a good hoodie is absolutely essential, but it's tough to find one that will last through the season. That's why the American Giant Classic Full Zip Hoodie is made to last a lifetime, so you can count on it to bring you comfort and warmth year after year. Slate Magazine called it the greatest hoodie ever made, and from cotton to zipper, it's made right here in the USA. With timeless style, heavyweight fleece, a double-lined hood, and reinforced elbow patches, you can depend on it for years to come. Snag the hoodie that will bring you comfort for life, the American Giant Classic Full Zip, and save 20% off your first order at american-giant.com when you use code CLASSIC24 at checkout. That's 20% off your first order at american-giant.com, code CLASSIC24.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you.
All right, ladies, buckle up. It's showtime.
Hey, what's going on, all you scallywags out there? You know what time it is. It's time for Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. It's the Reese on the Radio Rundown. Your place to come and hang out on Sunday in the afternoon or the evening, depending on when we air. But I love the fact that you guys are here. Always remember, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Plenty of content there. We got the stupidest thing that I've read today, which is on Monday through Friday. We've got videos, the weird stuff that I see online. I don't post all that much about those. I try to get one once a week. And we get some other content on it. And, of course, you can always purchase a T-shirt. That'd be nice. Buy a T-shirt there. We do sell them. If you're interested in being a part of the Scallywags, you can grab a shirt there. Anyway, all the news and all the views are right here with Reese on the Radio. And today I want to start off with saying something about liberals or people on the left today. This is a message to them, even though it sounds more like I'm speaking to people who might be on the right, voting for Donald Trump, or listening to the news media. Let me say this. No one, and I mean no one, is genuinely afraid of Donald Trump becoming president of the United States. If you hear them talking about it, if you hear the words coming out of their mouth, if you hear someone repeating the talking points that they hear on television, like if you hear someone say something and you go, wow, where have I heard that before? That sounds like something Joy Behar said, or that sounds like something Sonny Houston Houston said. You can best believe they are not afraid of a Donald Trump presidency. They're just not. And I know they're not. And I'm talking to you now, those on the left. I know you're not afraid. This is like repeating something that everyone says because you want to sound like you're a part of something big. This is an inclusionary thing. Like, this is about inclusion. You want to sound smart. You want to sound like you know what you're talking about. Informed. All that stuff. That's what you're doing. You don't believe this? I know you don't. And let me tell you why. There's a couple of very real explanations as to why we know you don't feel that way. You have no ability to articulate what you are afraid of. Outside of the nonsense you've heard on television, because even that you should be able to break down. When you hear Joy Behar say that Donald Trump is going to come in and remove television programs, and Rachel Maddow saying that Donald Trump is going to get rid of MSNBC, when you said, like, again, just explain how. And if your first answer, do it now. Do it right now. Do it right now. Just answer the question to yourself. How is he going to do it? Line by line, bit by bit, step by step. How can he get rid of these things? Put in play any of the things you're talking about. Dismantle the Constitution, please, and then the removing the Constitution. Let me break this one down to you. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite one about the Constitution. Anyone with half a brain and who's been alive at least 30 years knows that the left hates the Constitution. They hate it. In fact, ask any black person you know about the Constitution. At least a black person on the left, because today is a little different than it was maybe 10, 15 years ago. But ask any black person on the left about the Constitution. Ask a BLM member about the Constitution, what they think of it. And they will tell you, not that I would know, I'm kidding, they will tell you the Constitution was written for the white man, was written for the elites, written for the powerful. It does not apply to brown and black people, that the Constitution needs to be rewritten. It's something we've heard forever. And now all of a sudden they're concerned about Donald Trump on the right. Conservatives, MAGA folks. All of a sudden they're going to rewrite the Constitution? Really? And what are they going to do? Exactly, step by step. How are they going to remove the Constitution or rewrite it, for that matter? Democrats, you guys have been wanting to do it for the longest. You've been trying to get rid of the First, if not the Second Amendment. Most of your ever-loving lives, that's what you've been trying to do. You're trying to get rid of the Second Amendment. There's no one in the world who hates the Constitution more than you do. Now you all of a sudden sound so feverishly for it, or in defense of it. When did this happen? No one who claims to be so concerned about Donald Trump really is. It's just the tagline you use. It's like watching a Where's the Beef commercial from Wendy's. Everyone just keeps saying it because it's in their head. Threat to democracy, to the point where it doesn't mean anything. This is just like calling everything racist. You just keep calling it racist till it has no meaning. Threat to democracy is just a go-to. Here's a threat to democracy. What democracy are you talking about? What's the threat? You know. It's because they don't. No one is afraid. They're not afraid. The people on television aren't afraid. Nobody in government is afraid. And you might be asking yourself, then, Reese, why would they do it if they're not really afraid? Why do it? I don't know. Nobody knows why liars lie. Nobody knows why hyperbolic people are hyperbolic. I couldn't tell you why I was a hypochondriac when I was a kid. I just convinced myself that whatever the disease was, I had it. I just was. It's just who I was. No one knows why these people are, other than the fact that they want to belong to something. And they believe they're on the right side of it. See, I'm enlightened. See, I'm smart. See, I'm educated. I'm just like Joy Reid. I know what all the facts are. Look, I'm just like Rachel Maddow. I watch her show every day. She's right, so I'm right. I couldn't tell you why these people do it. I mean, those are some of the basic. I know that there's a lot of that's true. That they believe that they're aligned with these people, so in some way they feel like they're a part of them. Right? I think like Joy Reid does. I'm Joy Reid now. It's weird, but that's where they are. They feel an association with them. Right? Some kindred spirit. It's laughable, but that's who they are. But these people don't believe that. I mean, come on, seriously, if these people really believed that there was a chance that Donald Trump would do any of the things that they said that they were doing. They would get the hell out of Dodge, but they can't afford to. They love their jobs, and they love their paychecks. They love the life that they live. None of this stuff ever affects them. None of it ever does. They are not in the trenches. The only thing that they believe is that they have influence over you. They know that if they start screaming, the sky is falling, that some of you will start screaming, the sky is falling too. And that is the best thing that could happen to these people. That when you see them on the street and you say, hey, Joy Reid, I listen to you every day. I'm with you, no Trump. And they smile ear to ear. Yeah, look at them, hanging on every word. That's all this is about. No one believes it. Nobody's afraid. No one's shaking in their boots. Those people don't give two damns whether or not you pack up your belongings and move to Belize or Portugal. Just everybody, seriously, just knock it off. Just knock it off. Now, truth be told, if Kamala Harris wins, I'm out of here. just saying. We'll take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
1, 2, it's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're back. It's Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Now, I told you guys this week that I would talk about this Lawrence Jones bit from the Fox News morning show. I think it's called Fox and Friends. I don't really watch it, but I think that's the name of it. But Lawrence Jones went out to Detroit to talk to black men at a barbershop. And yes, this has been talked about ad nauseum. I get it. But it is important because this is a changing dynamic in our politic, our body politic. And we can't ignore it because it could change elections maybe for the next 10 years, right? At least the next 2 election cycles. It could all go back, Republicans could likely screw it up so bad that black men or blacks in general just go right back to the Democrat Party. They tried us out. Nope, sorry, sneaker didn't fit. You know what I mean? So that could happen. But this was an interesting thing for this reason. Many African Americans are openly talking about being a Republican or supporting Donald Trump, where 8 years ago, this would have been a powder keg. So being African-American and voting for Donald Trump or suggesting that you were supporting him created strong rifts in the African-American communities. Some people were ostracized and set aside. Kamala Harris, when she got into politics, no one really paid attention to her. Barack Obama becoming president of the United States that was it. That was, we are here. We are representatives of the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party gave us the first African-American president. That's where we are. It took 8 years for Barack Obama to squander that because then the numbers started shifting. And we get to 2016. Hillary Clinton is the candidate. Still many black men are voting the Democrat Party. Hillary Clinton was associated with Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. It was an easy choice. And then we get here. We get Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and we get where we are today. And all of a sudden, we see African-American men not being shy about saying that they're not with them. They can't support them. And Donald Trump is their guy. And if you were in some of these spaces where black people were having conversations 8 years ago, it was very, very few. Candace Owens was red-pilled in and around the Trump presidency. She was a liberal. And when she said she supported Donald Trump, she was ostracized by her community. This was also the case for Kanye West. Remember? He showed up with the red hat. People were saying, can we do a racial trade with Kanye West and get rid of him and give him to the white folks. Now there's this surprise. People are forgetting that they used to say all these horrible things about any African Americans who supported Donald Trump. Now here we are. Listen to some of these people talking about the election at hand in this barbershop in Detroit. All black men.
There's a lot of decisions have to be made. Me being an entrepreneur and a father and a grandfather, I'm looking at what state my children will be in 10 years from now.
At the end of the day, I'm Trump because my eyes open. I can see that he was doing a lot better than what we're going through right now. You can't even go to the grocery stores right now without making a life decision on what you want to get. You know, you got to compromise. We don't have to go through that 4 years ago.
You know, just being able to just live on a day-to-day basis, it has become a little harder at this point in time.
It's really hard to put our economic condition now on any particular administration.
In regards to the economy, I do think that Trump have some benefits as far as keeping our jobs right here.
Now, all of this is an incredible change. Many people are celebrating this, as they should, because you almost feel like people are not just voting based upon their identity and like they're supposed to, that they're a monolith, and you see some people using their mind. Certain factors play a role in their decisions. These are good things. It's not about your race. It's about how you feel, how your pocketbook is affected, those things. That's how everyone should vote. So it's nice to know that we've got a fighting chance that ideas play a role in our elections, not identity. And then you have this. Here's a man talking about why he can't support a guy like Donald Trump.
Sometimes us as brothers, black brothers, we feel like the other is better than we are. We would, that's that slavery mentality, that master is better, and that we want to.
Well, hold on, Bishop. Are you saying that the brothers that
I come from a different generation?
I understand that. Are you saying that the brothers that subscribe to Donald Trump, that feel like he would be better, have a slave mentality?
Many of us do still have a slavery mentality. I'm voting for master.
Now, that isn't to say that there aren't going to be people who are stuck where they are. They are going to be stuck where they are because that's where they're comfortable. They are dyed-in-the-wool Democrats. They know that that's the party they have to support, and anything outside of that would make them feel uncomfortable. They would feel outside of their own skin. This identity and this attachment to their party, it's real for them. It's one and the same. They are Democrat because that's who they are. It's in the blood. But that's okay. Because there are a lot of people like that of every demographic who are like this. This was the part that really got me, is what Lawrence Jones said after. Take a listen to this.
And I left with 50% of them are going to vote for Donald Trump, and 50% of them are going to be for Kamala Harris. Right. Still some undecided people in there as well. But the one consensus that you continue to hear is about the Trump economy, the Trump economy, the Trump economy. Sure. The other thing you hear, at least for some of the people that are going to vote for Kamala Harris, is that they want to be a part of the history of the first black woman being president. So there's a balance of economics versus history making going on. Yeah, I think.
Now that is interesting. That is the most interesting because, again, there used to be a time where the people who were voting for history was over 90%. That's Barack Obama. That's the Barack Obama coalition of 2008. And today we sit at 50-50. That, folks, is the pure definition, to steal a term from the Democrats, progress. We'll take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC. Hey, what's up, folks? It's Reese on the radio for News Talk 1080 WTIC. We've got all the news and all the views that we could shake a stick at, and we will share it with you. We've got the opening monologue, the 5 o'clock focus, the stupidest thing I've read today. You never get enough of those. And more importantly, your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. It's the show that really deserves an intersection named after it in New Haven, Haven. It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
So if you were listening to programming this week, at the very end, I am almost certain it was Friday, I did the opening monologue, which was titled, What Now, Democrats? And I pretty much laid out all of the things that the Democrats, the ends to which they went to destroy the fabric of their relationships with key demographics in their coalitions. Demographics that they held on to for some 60, maybe even 70 years. And I even went so far as to say that they let their attack dogs out the gate without a leash, and now they have no hold over them. They've alienated everyone in those demographics because, in essence, they built up these attack dogs, right? They bolstered them, they fed them, all of the nonsense they wanted to do, and then set them out into the world to burn it down. And the regular folks were caught in the crossfire of everything they did, from the riots to the BLM demands that were made on average citizens, to white privilege, to CRT, the DEI, just everything. And now, with the attack on October 7th in Israel and the pro-Hamas, anti-Israel protests at college campuses, all of these things are fabrics of the Democrat Party. They are all coalition in the Democrat Party. And I made this, I asked this question, what now? What are you going to do now? You're going to have to either rein those people in, or you're going to have to salvage the relationship with the people you alienated. And I don't think that there are some people coming back. I think that if anything that comes of this, there will be more independence than ever before. I see both parties losing a stronghold of American people. I feel like the numbers of people who identify as a Republican will diminish, as well as people who identify as a Democrat will diminish, and there will be this independent group of people that you won't be able to identify as far as politics are concerned. They will have a smattering of different opinions. You might get very, strong conservative people with very social, liberal-like attitudes that you can't bog down. You can't lock in into a particular group. Which, again, a lot of this, it's good. I mean, trust me, don't get me wrong. I love this. I love the idea that there is a breakdown in that, in essence, there are some things that I've always known growing up that as a Republican, some people that I knew who identified as Republican couldn't stand with, right? And there were some people who were liberal who could see the insanity in their party and they couldn't stand with some of their ideals. So, of course, that's how the independent party grew. It's the reason libertarian is a force to be reckoned with today. Because people did not want to be held to these, sort of structures of each party and not being able to get some wiggle room. The human psyche is so fluid. It just is. As the world changes, people changes, their ideas change, they become comfortable with more things. That's just the way it is. And with that, it's interesting to watch the people today side in a way with certain things. As I said before about, African Americans now sort of split down the middle about history versus economics or best interest and things like that. It's happening with other groups as well. And I think that this war in Gaza is a perfect example of what we're seeing in what can only be described as the moderate Muslim community. And what I mean by that is these are people who are not going to be out protesting. These are people who are not going to be out screaming death to Israel. These are people who are trying to live the American dream, who have come to this country so that their kids can have a life that they've never dreamed of, who know what it's like to live in the Arab and Muslim countries that their parents, if not they, came from. And when you hear these things that people, the stuff that they're not falling for anymore, it's very interesting to watch. I'm going to play this audio of this woman. She's on CNN. She's obviously a leftist, but I want you to hear something. It's so interesting when you pay attention to what people say and what can be missed in translation. This woman is talking about Tiffany Trump, Donald Trump's youngest daughter. And what she says in mentioning Tiffany Trump, there's a little bit inside this that you can't miss. Pay very close attention. I'll break it down for you if you miss it.
The business sector in the Arab American community. And I was really surprised this week to get an earful to hear them say that they would much rather either vote a third party, not vote at all, or vote for Donald Trump. And I'm telling you, it's not obviously a significant sample size, but I cannot find one Arab American within my social circle in business or personally who have said that they will vote for Kamala Harris. When you look at the polling, it seems sort of neck and neck. What they are saying, and this is not a Donald Trump campaign line, that Tiffany Trump's father-in-law, who's a Lebanese businessman, has been successful in kind of converting and talking to people to explain why Trump would be better. Even with the Muslim ban, even with everything else that has happened, they feel they do not have any political clout. They don't have any political operation. The only political power they have is their vote.
Here she's talking about Tiffany Trump's father-in-law. That's right, the father of her husband. He is a Lebanese businessman. Her father-in-law, Tiffany's father-in-law, is trying to convince others in the Arab and Muslim community to vote for Donald Trump. In the same sentence, this woman is talking about Trump's Muslim ban, thinking that no one's going to notice that the guy she's trying to label as an Islamophobe, Donald Trump, his youngest daughter, his baby, is married to a Lebanese man. Do you get that? Like, you're supposed to miss that. It completely defies logic. And here is the problem. See, this is the thing that they don't recognize. So while they're trying to demonize Trump, right, calling him an Islamophobe, or referring to him as an Islamophobe, here he has family, his own children. We're not talking about people removed from Donald Trump. Children he's raised are married to the people that they claim Donald Trump is anti. They call him anti-Semitic while his oldest daughter is married to a Jewish man. They call him Islamophobic while his youngest daughter is married to a Lebanese man. This is the reason why all of these things are changing. God, if Barron marries a black woman, it's over. It's like, what are you going to do? The shenanigans are over. These jokes, all of this other stuff is just insane. Again, the Democrat Party doesn't know. When they unleash these hounds and they are now rogue and they're spewing anything and everything, and it's not like the rest of us can't hear it or see it and realize none of this adds up. It just doesn't. They're going to have to come up with something better. They just have to. Or they're going to have to reconcile these relationships with people that they beat down with these lies and these untruths. You hear these people scream and holler about misinformation. While right before you, that woman's comments right there, they collapse on themselves. Donald Trump's Muslim ban, as she talks about Donald Trump's youngest daughter's Lebanese father-in-law. It just couldn't get more stupid. Just couldn't. It makes me laugh every time I hear it. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. I'm Reese on the radio, and this is News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. About to wrap a bow around this puppy and get out of here so you guys can get back to your weekend. And, of course, get ready for the work week. And don't forget to check us out at 3 p.m. right here on News Talk 1080 WTIC. I will be here with bells on. I remember a couple of weeks back, I said my wife saw something on Facebook, and someone had posted something that said, what from the 70s would you bring back if you could? And my wife wrote, shame. And I thought that was great, and I agreed with her wholeheartedly. The interesting thing about that was we do have shame today, and it's completely flipped upside down. And think about this, just where you are in your life. Think about the things that are shameful and things that used to be shameful that aren't anymore. Just think about it. And I know there's probably some stuff running through your head now, and it's the easiest, the easy ones. Like now, if you say something about someone's weight, you're fat shaming them. If a girl, or anyone for that matter, is promiscuous, then it's slut shaming. All of the things in the world that we never would allow growing up, we are not allowed to shame anymore. And think of the things that we do shame. We shame intelligence today with no problem. Somebody thinks that they're smart or somebody is smart, they will ridicule them to no end. What, you think you know everything? You think you know better than everybody else? You think you're smarter than everyone? It's always that shaming. Or bettering yourself. Oh, you think you're better than it? There is this level of shame for those things that have gotten out of control. I was reading once that the family structure, a man, a woman, and children, shameful. In fact, speaking of the website, ReeseOnTheRadio.com, by the way, REESE on the radio, ReeseOnTheRadio.com. We did the stupidest thing I ever read, and one of the things that we put on there was reading to your children was shameful because you give them an unfair advantage. These things are shameful now. I started thinking about what my wife wrote about shame. It's like shame is there, but it's completely turned, it's 180'd. The things that we used to be prideful about are just shame. People are shameful even about their race. Remember when they said everybody that black and brown people were made to feel ashamed of who they are? So instead of making everybody feel less ashamed, they turned it on itself and said now people who are wealthy or white or anything, those things are shameful. My wife was reading something not too long ago, and it was this British girl with her pompous accent talking about I think it's the Blackfoot tribe. And this archaeologist of some sort was talking about how great this Blackfoot tribe was. Not that that's a bad thing, but when he was writing the thing, he couldn't just write about how great these people were, how their lifestyle was something he cherished or wanted to aspire to. He couldn't just write that. He immediately had to do a juxtaposition of white folks. And again, the writer was white. So he immediately had to go to bashing white people in their way of life. There's this one part that my wife was reading me about how the Blackfoot tribe, how they dealt with wealth, where they saw wealth as someone who gave it all away. And my view was, that's not wealth. That's not even a definition of wealth. And this demonization of it, that you should feel bad because you're wealthy. You do more. I mean, if you're a good person and you're wealthy, you do more for people being wealthy than being poor or altruistic, where you're giving it all away, so you have nothing, so you don't have more to give. The objective of wealth is to be able to do more for a considerable amount of time. Right? You don't just get wealthy and then give it all away and then all of a sudden go back to poverty. And that's another thing. I'm speaking of poverty, this nobility in being poor or destitute, like that's keeping it real. There's no shame in being nothing, not aspiring to anything. That's shameful. I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to be too much of something or better. That's not what it means. Just because you you get somewhere in life doesn't mean you have to be ashamed of it or feel bad about it. I could be learning from this right now. I was just thinking, as I'm speaking, I'm saying to myself, that's one of my biggest problems. Like, I don't want to be rich and I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be at the top of the world. I just don't want to be that way. Because, like I said, with some of those things come problems. But I kind of feel like I want to just stay a regular person. But I like being a regular person. I love who I am. Right? And now I'm thinking about it. And again, these things are really reflective to me. This thing that we've become comfortable with, that we should be ashamed of success, that we should be ashamed of the lives that happen to that if we really work hard and we get something from that we should feel some shame. I don't feel shame that because a lot of people get to know me and people love the show. I don't feel ashamed of that. I'm very proud and very happy that people love the show. Trust me, I do. Right? I just don't want anyone to ever think of me as I'm too big now to just do the little things or be around the little people. I don't feel that way. All I want for my life is to be able to still be who I am, no matter how much money I make or how big my name would ever get. I just want to be a regular guy. And I know that there are these parts that say you can't do that anymore because you're this, that, and the third. That's the one. If I'm fearful of anything, it's that something will take me out of that element and I have to do something else. But it's not about me. I don't want to make this about me. But I don't know, it's just something happened, just something cathartic just happened in me talking about this. But shame. We should be shameful for hurting people that we love or people that we don't even know. People should feel shame when they do dirt to people. People should feel shame when they waste their lives or they use their bodies for things that just aren't productive. People should feel shame. You should walk out of a situation and feel a sense of guilt. For me, that's a character builder. We need right and wrong. We need good and evil. We just do, because we wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And I know that we live in a world today that's trying to blend those two so they're indistinguishable from themselves. I don't want to live in a world like that. I want people to recognize this is good and this is bad. And stop shaming the stuff that's good. Going to church is good. Those things are good. You shouldn't feel shame for seeking guidance through religion, no matter what your faith is. You shouldn't feel shame that you want to get married before you have children, that you want to go to school before you get into a serious relationship with someone, that you want to better yourself instead of staying in the same doldrums of your life. No, none of those things should be made to feel shameful. Nobody should be made to feel like, oh, you think you're better than us because you're trying to better yourself. I think that people who do want to do better for themselves, if somebody ever says to you, what, you think you're better than us, look them right in the face and go, yep. And I've got no problem with it. I will feel no shame. Make them feel shameful for doing nothing with their lives. That's all I'm saying. All right, I got to get out of here. I just looked at the time. All right. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You, be back here, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for Reese on the radio, right here on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.